Hello, everybody. Welcome to Two Guys and Some Movies, the podcast formerly known as Reels. We decided to change the name just because there's a lot of Reels stuff out there.
A lot of movie-themed podcasts, especially ones that have started and then just stopped.
Yeah.
That are just still in the internet limbo, all have Reels in the title.
So from now on, we will be Two Guys and Some Movies across everything, right?
Yep. It's all changed already. We're good. It doesn't not with podcast anymore. It's just Two Guys and Some Movies on everything.
Nice. I'm
TWO.
TWO, Two Guys, as in 1, 2. But no, what 1, 2, because I'm better than you. I'm Derek. This is Dakota. We are going to be talking about a bunch of TV shows today. We're going to talk about Chucky season 3, basically as a whole.
Yeah.
And then Monarch episode 2, 3, and 4, because we only talked about the first episode last week.
Correct. Yeah.
And then we will be talking about Sunshine and the new Hunger Games movie, A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I think it's going to be a good one. I really do. I think there's going to be a lot of arguing. So let's start with a movie thought. Do you have one? I completely forgot about this because we were watching so much shit.
I have a movie thought. It's really me having trouble scoring.
Oh, okay.
How we're scoring worse. So I scored Sunshine. I'm not gonna tell you the score yet, but I scored it in the middle of what we've been scoring Hunger Games.
Mm-hmm.
But I like it more than all of the Hunger Games. So I didn't score it as high as Catching Fire, which was my highest ranked Hunger Games. But I scored it better than the other Hunger Games because I guess I've been scoring things based on just their. It's not their genre. It's more of what they're like. Hunger Games is a young adult movie,
Right?
It's for a young adult crowd,
and Sunshine is a real sci-fi movie.
Yeah, and so I graded it I graded Sunshine where a 10 out of 10 is Alien,
Right.
And then I graded Hunger Games where a 10 out of 10 is Harry Potter 3. Right.
I get you. Yeah.
So even though, I was like, do we need to mention that in the scoring? Because even though I scored Sunshine lower than Catching Fire, it's still, to me at least, a way better movie.
Yeah. I mean, so what I do, because I don't want to go full subjective. Is that the right one? Or objective? I don't want to go full just is it a good movie? I want to know if I want the entertainment value to factor in. So what I do is if it's a movie that I just like that I know isn't a good movie, like Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Mm-hmm. I fucking love that movie. The most that movie can get for me is an 8. So 0 to 8 is my entertainment factor. And then if it's going to be above an 8, I think about, is this actually a good movie? And that's when I pick it apart. And if, like Catching Fire, I think its entertainment value is there. It is a good movie, but it's not a perfect movie. I gave it a 9. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Uh-huh. So that's how I look at it. That's why I try not to... Because I know what you're saying. When I first started ranking movies, I would look at this shitty ass horror movie that I gave an 8, just because I like it, and then I gave Lethal Weapon 1 an 8, and I'm like, well, Lethal Weapon's better than that movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think it's just gonna happen.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to circumvent.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of these scales, they've been cutting down on the numbers, so it's just 1 through 10. You get 1, all the ones. You don't even get 0.5s anymore for IGN and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or that's why a lot of people do the 1 out of 5, or the 1 through 5, because then it's just bad, or awful, bad, medium, good, great.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
But I don't like a 5, because
5 scale's not enough.
It's not enough.
Yeah.
Because everything would be a 4. Everything would be a 4 or a 3.
Yeah, it's insane because the difference between an 8 and a 9 is pretty drastic on our scale.
I feel like it does, yeah.
Yeah. So,
I don't think it's that big a deal.
yeah, I'll just make it a point sometimes. Be like, hey, even though, like, I guess there's an overall. I feel like there's like an overall like if I'm ranking this movie, if it was gonna win Best Picture, you can do that ranking too.
Yeah.
And that's like a whole different thing. But then that's also like, you just write off some movies. Like, oh, this is a comedy. Minus 5 points because it's never going to get nominated.
Yeah, I don't like doing it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I think if you always
I'll just mention it sometimes.
Right, like this.
For a serious sci-fi movie, this is an 8.5.
Yeah. And it's weird because, like, we were talking about during Halloween how, like, an 8 is fucking amazing for horror. An 8.5 in science fiction realm is like good, but like there are a lot of
slightly like 8.5 is like slightly above average.
Yeah,
because sci-fi movies like your baseline for a sci-fi movie is freaking good.
Yeah,
still.
exactly.
Yeah.
So there was a couple bit of news points. Speaking of Alien, Timothy Olyphant, is that how you say his name?
Olyphant, I believe.
Is he starring in Aliens? He's just got a role. Do we know?
He's cast in the FX series.
The Alien series.
It's set before, it's a prequel.
Yeah, I think it was like 30 years before Alien.
Yeah, it's set in like 2050 or something.
Which is exactly when, well, no,
70 years in the future, it says.
So it's like 2100.
Oh wait, it's in between 1 and 2 when they're sleeping.
Oh, I thought that's what Romulus was.
Man, I'm getting all confused now.
I think it's a prequel. I think it's set.
But it's on Earth.
Yeah,
it's on Earth. That's what it says. It's on Earth.
Dang, that's stuck. The more I hear about it, I don't think that Romulus, the new movie that Fede Alvarez is doing, or this series is going to be fucking good. Like, I think it's going to be awful. I just don't think that they know what Alien is supposed to be, you know?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he's going to play a synthetic.
Oh, that'll be fun.
We don't know, it's unconfirmed, but the rumors say that he's playing this synth called Kirsch, who is like the mentor and trainer for the main character, who is a hybrid, who is half regular human, half meta-human. Somehow. Which would make sense though, because if you think about the androids in Alien and how all of their organs are very organic, you could just put, like, say she was probably born, she's probably gonna die when she was born, and they were like, we have artificial organs, just try them out.
Yeah,
that'd be cool if her blood was pink.
That would be cool.
That'd be gross. It's good to have a big name, especially Timothy Olyphant, because he's super big. It's an FX show, and he's like FX's golden pony. Yeah. So they're really gonna get a.
I like Timothy Olyphant.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever ran into anyone who does not like Timothy Olyphant.
But yeah, I don't know. The Romulus show just feels like it skews so young with the cast. Have you seen it? They're all like the
movie?
Yeah, the Romulus movie, sorry.
Yeah.
They're all like 22 or younger. Mm-hmm. Like, that's not what Alien is, you know?
Yeah, it's gonna be so hard because they did so good casting Noomi Rapace in Prometheus, because it's so, like, Sigourney Weaver's shoes are so hard to fill.
Yeah.
And was perfect for it as like this.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like Prometheus.
I know. I literally just saw TikTok today about people complaining about Prometheus. And I was like, you just don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to have more Alien because it's been a while. Well, like we've had Covenant, but like that's it.
Your Covenant sucked.
Uh, I don't dislike as much as you did, but I'm excited to have. I feel like I'm excited to have some OG Alien in our life. I'm tired of even Ridley Scott made this decision in Covenant, to make it more organic. But I want like the full on biomech xenomorph back in our lives.
Yeah, I mean, the show, if it's set before, I don't see how they can be on Earth the whole time. So, like, it's just weird. Like, is it an alien show or is it just an alien show?
Just set in Alien verse.
Yeah.
It'll just be like Blade Runner.
They could finally put the two together because there's always been.
Yeah, Ridley's producing it, so like he's behind the scenes on it.
Yeah, because it could have. There was always a. Well, I guess there is some evidence of Weyland-Yutani having their sense, and then whatever companies in Blade Runner having their what do they call them that?
Replicants?
Replicants, yeah. And they're just like, it's basically like an iPhone versus an Android.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's an Android versus an Android. So that would be cool if it was like that and it was just like a world building show.
That would be cool. But people will get mad. Like, there's no aliens in my Alien show.
Yeah, that's why we're gonna.
Fair enough.
We'll talk about that in Monarch. People are fucking pissed about there not being any monsters, or light on monsters.
I think they've been doing pretty well.
That's what I was thinking. The other news is the Loki writer. He has been hired to rewrite both Avengers movies.
Dang.
Yeah.
Why would they hire him? I guess
Because
they must be keeping Kang then.
I don't know if they are. They said
he's the one who's handled Kang's character this whole time.
Yeah, I mean they still. I think it's still up in the air. I think that they're gonna see what he can come up with. Because I mean everyone did love the ending of Loki season 2. I don't know a lot. I just know that people loved it.
Yeah, I haven't. I've watched season 1, but we never got around to season 2 yet. It'll probably happen later.
Yeah, it's crazy that they're scrambling like this, though. Like we talk about it every week, but it's that crazy. I love it.
Yeah, yeah, it's nuts.
And then I have a rumor also. It is that Anya Taylor-Joy is Marvel's first choice to play the Fantastic Four villain. And because we heard about a female Silver Surfer a couple weeks ago, a lot of people are assuming that it's that part that they want her for. Yeah. Not that she's accepted or anything, it's just they want her.
Yeah. Yeah, so
I don't think she'll take it.
Yeah, I was going to say a studio one. Yeah, I don't think she will either, to be honest.
Especially with
unless it's a one and done.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, because then I can see it. Like, oh yeah, I'll do one Marvel movie, and just especially if that's in the contract.
Yeah,
I could see that, but
I don't see her taking that after that Furiosa trailer looks like it does, and she's gonna be like that's gonna be a franchise for her. I feel like.
I think there's only gonna be one other movie. I think it's gonna be like Fury Road, Furiosa, and then another movie, and then it's gonna be like a trilogy of itself. I think that's what George Miller has planned, but.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, I mean, she's in. It's like a whole. How do you explain this? It's like a different set of. It's like a different subsection of nerd culture to be in like a Mad Max movie. Like it's a different fan base. But it's also like I feel a more serious fan base.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say it's
more
like
adult,
more hardcore.
Yeah, more hardcore, more adult, and then especially like even Mad Max Fury Road, which is like an amazing movie. I feel like if you put like our grandparents to watch it, they wouldn't get it. They wouldn't get why.
Yeah,
it's amazing, but they would. But
they
then
would enjoy it.
But then the OG Mad Max is a freaking masterpiece, and they would understand that. That's like, but the Mad Max, the new Mad Max, like whatever George Miller's got going on in his head, he's got some weirdness to him. It's really weird.
Yeah.
And it works. I'm a little. We haven't talked about the trailer, but the trailer.
I mean, that's the next thing.
Okay.
Jump right into Furiosa trailer.
It's Furiosa trailer. I'm a little worried because it's everyone's complaining about the CG. I don't care about that. Obviously, they did not go for as much practical effects.
I was like, it's a lot more CG than practical.
They didn't go as much. But George Miller has, I don't know if he responded to it or if this was just like something someone pulled from the campaign for Fury Road. Every single shot in Fury Road had CG. Every single one. Even though they did all the practical fire and everything was CG, had CG element. He said every single one, not a single one didn't.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So now I think it's just like he's been through it. They said that it was hell on set. Especially, you're filling up a 5 or 10 gallon gas tank and you use it all in one shot and then you have to wait to fill it up again and do all that. He probably just doesn't want to deal with it.
I mean, the movie took a long time.
Yeah.
Like, he was making that movie for years.
And for one thing, CG, slow-mo fire looks fake. So CG fire actually just looks more real when you really get down to it. It looks more real than the real fire does. And so I don't know what kind of weird situation they got going on, but there's a weird tint to this movie.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a weird yellowness.
Yeah, I think that. Well, the people are complaining about the CG because even the car stuff is CG. Like, I don't think people are caring about the explosions necessarily.
Oh, I heard complaining specifically about fire.
Oh, yeah. I mean, all the explosions look like they definitely didn't explode anything in the trailer, but I think all the car stuff looks like it's CG too, which I think is what's giving it like a. I don't know if it's the yellow. I think it's just like a clean look. Yeah. But the cars look clean, even though everything is dusty.
Yeah, and it's probably really, really hard to get the effect of the tire, what the tire does to the sand, to get that right. Because if that's just not right, you won't be able to point it out.
You'll be like, something's wrong.
But yeah, you'll just in your mind subconsciously, something's not right.
Yeah.
And that could be it. Because God, I can't even like the interaction between tire and sand driving that fast. Would be so impossible to do.
Right.
But the cleanliness is probably a thing. It's not as. I only watched the trailer once. It's not as. It seems like they're trying to make it more gritty and grimy than the Fury Road, but then they're not succeeding. Almost.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still excited for the movie.
Yeah, the movie still looks good. I think I really. I'm most excited about seeing Chris Hemsworth as a villain, and just with his normal,
just a fun villain,
villain, and he's Australian.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be fun.
Well, isn't all Mad Maxes set in Australia?
Yeah,
yeah.
But like Chris Hemsworth was like, he is Australian. He never gets to play it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So I think that he's just gonna have a blast.
It's funny that he just like quit. Or not quit, but he's taking a break from acting. But he's like, yeah, I'll still do Mad Max. That's freaking dope.
Well, he probably filmed this years ago.
I thought they said that they just got done filming. Maybe it's been pretty recent, but it was exciting. It was a surprising drop.
Yeah, so there's some kind of event going on, CCXP, this weekend. But that's like not a big enough event where people are going to realize. But the rumor is we're getting a Godzilla Kong trailer today or tomorrow also.
Well, it probably is playing in front of -1.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I know it's getting dropped online. I'm pretty sure this weekend because of CCXP.
I saw posters actually.
Yeah.
It was like Godzilla's handprint with him in it, and then Kong's handprint in black with him in it, and then this white ape, white. He's white, right? He has white hair. The orangutan?
No, he's got orange hair.
Really? I thought it was white. Well, anyway, his handprint's in red.
Yeah.
And it shows him, and I was like, duh.
Yeah, the posters are good.
Nuts.
I saw some leaks I won't talk about. But the movie looked very good.
Yeah.
So overall, you think?
I'm excited about it. I think it was I honestly you can't take trailer footage for as done.
Yeah.
So I just think the footage probably isn't done enough, and George Miller was either pressed by the production company or he was just like, let's get it out and get a little teaser and like get people excited.
Yeah.
So I think what we see, like, you shouldn't worry about the CG because honestly, George Miller, he doesn't do a lot of movies, but they don't ever look bad.
No.
And he seems like one of the people who will take like fans' criticisms and be like, hey, like this does need to look better.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I was thinking when the trailer came out, and I was like, George Miller didn't come up on our director list, and it's just because his library is small and it's just
small,
all over the place. He made Mad Max, and then he made the Happy Feet and
the Pig movie, right?
Yeah, the Babe movies, and then he has like different movies of different genres sprawled between. Like he did The Witches of Eastwick, which is like a black comedy.
Is that the one with Jack Nicholson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he did, God, this other movie is like a historical drama. He's all over the place. But I just think that for certain people, his movies are definitely up there. You know, like he definitely doesn't make any bad movies. Like no one just hates Babe. You know.
Yeah.
I've never seen Happy Feet.
Oh, Happy Feet's banging.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen the second one, which I think he did too.
Yeah, he did it. He did.
Oh yeah, because I remember him in an interview. He said that they approached him to do a Happy Feet 3, and he's like, I ran out of ideas. He said, I can't write it. And we're probably most likely going to do a series showdown up to Furiosa, I would assume.
For Mad Max.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I love Mad Max.
That was like a 10, 9, 8, 10 right there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably close to that.
Yeah.
Which is fucking insane.
That's crazy.
My daughter has never seen them, and I was telling her about this new trailer, and we just watched the trailer for every single one of the movies because I wanted to show her how it started out as like a normal cop show or movie, and it just turns into this, and she was like, this is fucking wild. I was like, yeah, we're gonna watch them. Just wait.
Yeah, there's a special thing. I know my wife's probably only seen Fury Road. She might have seen Thunderdome, but I'm unsure. She does not like Mel Gibson though.
What?
Yeah, like not at all. It's weird.
That's weird.
I've tried to get her to watch Lethal Weapon before.
It's crazy that the first one is like the least popular because it is incredible.
And people think the second one's better, and you're just not right. Yeah. Not right.
The second one's just weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the second one.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's really great still, but.
All right. We are going into the television shows, which we took a little break from. We dropped one of the movies this week so we could catch up on certain shows.
Yeah.
Which one you want to talk about first?
We probably should just do Chucky because I feel like Monarch's going to be like a...
Do you want to talk about extra stuff that we watched? Because I did watch a couple extra things.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I told you I was watching a couple weeks ago that I started Gilmore Girls, and I was only going to bring it up when
Every so often?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Nothing big happened. I just want to talk about Lorelai's grandma because of how ridiculous she is. I think she's absolutely hilarious. I wish she was in it more.
Yeah, people will love her character.
Yeah, I mean, I wish to be as petty as her one day. Like, I want to be as entitled and petty as her one day.
Who's Rory's little booth thing this time? You still on Dean?
She broke up with Dean.
Just broke up with Dean after he cheated?
He didn't cheat on her.
She was the cheatee, I thought. Didn't he have a girl he was with, and then he cheated on him?
No.
Could be wrong. That's so long ago.
Yeah, I was like, that might be his second boyfriend or something.
It definitely ain't.
He told her that he loved her.
Do you know who all her boyfriends are? Because they're all, like, pretty famous people.
I know most of them, I think. Like, I know it's the dude from Heroes.
Yeah.
Obviously the blonde kid.
Yeah. That's
What's his name?
I don't know. He's like the least famous. Like you're talking about the guy in The Resident, the show, the doctor show.
I don't know about the Resident. I don't know what the Resident is. Chad Michael Murray.
Oh,
His name?
is Chad Michael Murray in the show?
I think so.
Oh,
And then the one that you're talking about that's in The Resident is the one that I don't know.
the other blonde kid.
I know what he looks like, but I have no idea who he is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know all of them.
Yeah. So you're about to hit Jesse probably, which is.
I think I'm gonna hit Tristan. I think it's Chad Michael Murray's character because he's already in it.
I don't remember Chad Michael Murray at all, but Jesse's is what's funny. God, I don't want to. It's not like a spoiler, but Lorelai makes a joke about Jet. So what is his name in real life? It's gonna make me so mad. The guy from Heroes.
Oh,
he has such a long last name.
Milo Ventimiglia.
Oh yeah. Milo, yeah. Ventimiglia.
Yeah.
So he played. He has this. You know how his jaw's a little skewed.
Yeah.
And he talks with like a little lisp. Lorelai makes a Rocky joke.
Oh really?
That he talks like Rocky. And then this was before he actually played Rocky's son in Rocky Balboa or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's just so funny that it all comes around.
That is funny. But yeah, I wanted to talk about her because she's freaking incredible.
Yeah, she is.
And
she's pretty memorable.
Maybe a hot take. I don't know. I like Emily Gilmore the most.
Who's that?
I think their mom or Lorelai's mom.
Oh.
I think she's the best character. Mostly because she's pretty petty.
Do you like Luke?
I do like Luke. Yeah. Yeah, Lorelai's with Max right now, Rory's teacher.
Uh-huh.
I don't like him, even though he's a nice guy and everything. I just don't think that they fit, Yeah,
they ain't a perfect match like Luke and Lorelai.
Right.
Do you like her? Is it her best friend that she works with?
Sookie?
Yeah.
Melissa McCarthy?
Yeah.
Don't love her. It's crazy that she got big from this.
Mm-hmm.
She had some more TV shows after this, obviously, like Mike and Molly, but this got her a starring role. It's bonkers to me because I can't stand her.
What about Sean Gunn's whatever his character is?
I just don't like it.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't like a lot of the town people.
What's funny is I remember I saw a thing about Sean Gunn complaining that he doesn't get any royalties for Gilmore Girls. And I had seen all of Gilmore Girls at the time. I was like, is Sean Gunn in Gilmore Girls? I was like, I don't even remember.
He pops up once every 3 episodes for 5 seconds.
He's one of the fan favorites, of the whole show.
I just don't get it. I love the show. I almost like none of the characters.
Yeah.
I don't like Lane, her best Rory's best friend.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like Sookie. I don't like Jackson. I just don't like... the only people I like are the petty ones that are barely in it. I like Michelle, that works at the end.
Yeah.
The French guy. He's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, he is standout funny.
And then I did watch the Squid Games challenge up to the last episode.
Yeah, so did I.
And I really, really do enjoy the show. I think it's... I know a lot of people complain about how dramatic it is. Obviously, they were told to be that dramatic. I don't think some people get that. But I just think it adds to the ridiculousness of it. I think it's funny.
Mm-hmm.
And there are so many twisty turns and backstabby bullshit in this that it's just pure entertainment.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane the fact that I'm literally physically clapping when certain individuals get get eliminated because I'm like, get that bitch out of here.
Exactly.
It's nuts, man.
We won't talk about it since it's pretty new still, like spoilery stuff. But I like that. So they needed some kind of entertainment value between the actual challenges. So they have these tests in the dorms, and I feel like those are the most exciting parts of the show, which is ridiculous.
Well, because that most of them involve them having to pick people to go publicly.
Yeah.
Like, you're publicly choosing someone to get eliminated.
Yeah,
And it's crazy.
when it gets whittled down, they always try to make the game as diplomatic as possible, and it kind of takes away from the game, I feel like.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes there's some drama added, like in the tile one.
Yeah, I missed the tile one.
Oh, you didn't watch that?
I was skipping. I was doing some of the work for the name change for the podcast while she was watching it. Because like I was like, she was watching it, and I was just there.
Yeah.
But she informed me.
What happened?
Oh, man! If we could talk about it, the fact that the one contestant didn't do their part, and then the next game, the only smart contestant in the whole thing
Tries to call her on it,
and get them eliminated.
and everyone's like, "What the fuck
what
are you doing?" Even her, she's the one that did it. That fucked some shit up during the previous game. She's got herself convinced that she did nothing wrong.
Yeah, she's like, when she gets confronted by the lady, and she was like, "You just weren't a team player. You didn't do your part, blah, blah, blah." She's like, "I did my part. I took my 50-50 chance."
Yeah.
No, you didn't.
No,
you didn't. But, man, it's crazy to me that they didn't involve the finale. I think it's because they didn't want spoilers.
Yeah, I think so.
They just wanted, they didn't want people to spoil the winner online, so they were like,
Let's give 2 weeks for everyone to watch up until the finale, and then we'll give it.
Do you like the final three?
I like 2 of the final 3.
The one's just not in it. Oh wait, never mind. She got eliminated at the end.
Yeah, it's funny when they got down to like 12 people, and there was like 3 people that I'd never seen before, and I was like, I love that. We followed all these people, and now we just have different people to follow because there were so many people.
One of the people in the final 3, like he was barely in it aside from the last 2 episodes. Really.
Yeah. But
it's funny to pick like people, and you're like, oh, they're like the main character,
Yeah.
Like what's funny is the guy. This is not a spoiler. There's a mom and a son couple. There's a mom and a son who are there together. The son is like super famous. He's on all the news shows talking about the thing, and everyone just loves him.
Yeah.
Because the way it's filmed, he is like he's like the protagonist of the first.
I mean, because when you're starting out and you have 456 people, you're gonna look for people that are interesting out of those group, and just because he's there with his mom, it already makes him more interesting than everyone.
And the fact that for some unknown reason, everyone's targeting his mom the whole season. It's crazy.
And she's old. She's like 90 years old.
Like, what are you targeting her for?
I'm excited that we have 3. So we're down to 3 people, and there's 2 more.
Yeah, in the previews, they showed that the dinner is a game.
The dinner, the final dinner is a game.
Yeah.
And then it's going to go into a 1v1. I'm very excited about that.
Yeah.
I think that's next.
The 1v1 is going to be disappointing, though. I think. I have a feeling it's just going to be because even in the regular Squid Games, the only reason the 1v1 ends in it is called the Squid Game, is because it's the creator or the owner of the Squid in the show, the first TV show, is that was his childhood game.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And so. There's no reason they should do it here. It's going to be so boring. They're just going to be running around. No one's going to know the rules because the rules are so confusing.
Well, also with the final 3, one person has a very physical advantage, I feel like.
Oh my God, yeah. He's so secretly jacked.
And he's huge.
Yeah, he is, like you just look at his arms, you can see all his muscle striations and stuff. I'm like, God dang, this man's, he played the game right. He's nuts.
Yeah, the fact that he made it there because of one of the other 3 basically saved him in the final. Like, didn't choose him in that last game.
Yeah, he was not involved. He never had to pick anyone.
No, and like the one dude is his buddy.
Yeah.
But like, if I'm that, if it's down to the final 3 and I know that this dude is looking like he is and he's as physical as he is, I'm picking him. I'm getting him out.
Oh God, I can't say things. But her first pick in that game
was dirty.
Was insane.
It was so dirty.
It was insane. But then the girl that everyone hates, the one, when she was chosen to pick, she was like, "Oh, I can't choose blah 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 because they'll know it was me." I'm like, "No, you should do it because they would never expect you to do it."
Exactly.
And she didn't, and obviously, man, dude coming in and getting 2 of those right was impressive.
It was
like,
impressive.
man, you got some. We need to go meditate together because you were.
I bet he has like
you were in tune.
supersonic hearing. Like every time someone got up from the thing, he was like,
Well, I saw one dude get up and you could see his desk go. Wah.
yeah.
I was like, oh, that sucks.
And then I did finally watch Once Upon a Studio, the Disney 100-year anniversary short. So it was magical. Like it was so magical. It's basically like everyone's leaving the Walt Disney Studios, like the workers, and two of them stop on the way out and they're like, "Can't believe Walt created this 100 years ago or opened this 100 years ago," and then they leave, and Mickey and Minnie pop out of one of the pictures on the wall, and they're like, "It's 100 years." It's like, "Let's get this picture going," and basically every character from the last 100 years are coming out of their pictures to take a picture together. And I mean, they have Robin Williams. They use some lines, unused lines, so they got him talking. What's the dude that played Scar? Jeremy Irons.
Yeah.
He was there. I mean, like all these people came back to re-record their lines, and it is just magical. It really is, and it's like 10 minutes long.
Oh, I'm gonna watch that.
Yeah, it was fun. You have to search. It's never just right there. It's called Once Upon a Studio.
Once Upon a Studio. Okay.
I should have watched that when it came out, but I really it would always escape my mind. You know, it's not something that I'm like, oh yeah. When I sit down and watch something, I'm like, let me fucking watch that little short.
Yeah.
But it was fun. But that was all. So I'm good to talk about Chucky now.
Yeah, I guess. Well, I watched The Crown a little.
Oh, okay.
I didn't. They released the first half of the season, and the first half of the season is all about Princess Diana, and then the second half of the season is like what we grew up with. Like Prince William and Prince Harry are fully grown. It's like Kate Middleton's in the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so like this is what the second half of the season is going to be about. So I'm like, I think I'm 1 or 2 episodes away from finishing it. Obviously, you know where Princess Diana's story is going to end, and then we'll probably see a little bit of aftermath of it. But Elizabeth Debicki's playing Princess Diana. Do you know who that is?
Yeah.
She's probably going to win the, Golden Globe and Emmy and all that bull crap for this. She's more, like, she has 10 times more screen time than the Queen. Really, it's really just her and, what's her husband's name? Prince Charles. It's really just about her and their relationship and her and Dodie's relationship, the guy she is with. But super good. Obviously, I feel like if you've watched The Crown already, you're going to be watching this. If you haven't seen The Crown, you're just never going to watch it.
Yeah, I'll never watch it.
So, and honestly, to be honest, the first 3 seasons of The Crown are the bomb seasons, because it's all, at least for me, because it's all stuff I didn't grow up with. Because everything you pretty much know, it's hard to...
See, for someone like me who I truly didn't. I found out that William and Harry, is that their names? Mm-hmm. Were Diana's kids like 2 years ago.
That's crazy.
Because I just don't care.
Yeah, they're like in the show, like, she gets the kids every so often, and then they go off to school in Scotland and all that bullcrap.
Yeah.
But there's like these famous moments that we just didn't get to live. You were alive, actually.
When she died, yeah, I was.
You were alive during these moments, because it's like 1993 and 94.
Yeah, but I'm a child.
Yeah. But like, there's a famous thing she did where she went to, I forget what country it was, but they're post-war and their lands are riddled with mines, and like kids were dying going to school every day because they would just step on mines. And so she actually goes there and like walks a minefield with just a plastic thing on her face. And there's a real famous picture of Princess Diana with that thing on her face. But,
that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it is real interesting to see. I know most of the stuff obviously is probably like the overall telling of the story is real, but like the inner conversations are probably over dramatized,
Dramatized.
dramatized, dramatized. Dramatized. I
Dramatized.
like it. Dramatized.
Dramatized.
Dramatized. Yeah. Like so, Dodie, who's the guy she is seeing when she dies. He's a famous producer. He produced a lot of movies. His father's super rich, and his father's always wanted UK citizenship.
That's weird.
And yeah, it's weird. Well, no, so he's so weird. So like, he bought her uncle's house because her uncle was king for maybe not even a year before he fell in love with a lady who was already married once, and so like it was a forbidden love, and so he rejected the crown. It was like, I don't want this. I love her. So then he left, and then he was in cahoots with Hitler trying to get the crown back. But whatever. So he was like, oh, this is a king's house. So he went and bought. This dude's a billionaire for whatever he did in his country. And so he bought his house from him, and now he's like living as a king, and he's always wanted UK citizenship. So now he's like paying for paparazzi to get photos of his son and Diana, so that they could get married, so that he would be entitled to UK citizenship.
That's so weird.
And but like they set it up. Was he actually the one who paid? Because it's a real famous photo. It's the first photo that she's seen like on a yacht with Dodie kissing. It's like the first photo that revealed that who they were together. And so like, it'd be crazy if that really happened, but did it actually happen? And also, Dodie he's engaged and was supposed to the time of the photo, he was supposed to get married the next week to this other lady. And then there's a whole conversation with her about how he sees her and she's like, you're literally spending all this time with the most beautiful woman in the world, because I guess Princess Diana was considered that when she was alive. And then they have their whole argument, because he's like, oh, it's not anything, blah, blah, blah. It's just my dad asking me to look after her, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, did that actually happen? Because that'd be cool. But so it's just, it's interesting to think about, like, some episodes you watch, and at the end, they'll do, like, the credits, or, like, tell you what actually happened. And those episodes are the coolest.
It's like royal conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't find it interesting.
Yeah, all the stuff back in the day was interesting, back in the World War II days, especially when God, what's his name? John Lithgow played him. So did Gary Oldman in that movie.
Churchill?
Yeah, Winston Churchill, when because he's like the first 3 seasons.
Really?
He is the prime minister. That's some incredible stuff when the Queen's actually dealing with some real stuff instead of, oh my God, Princess Diana was seen with another man even though she's not married.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. So, on to Chucky. Have we talked about just episode 1?
Well, yeah.
What did you watch? You watched 2 and 3 and 4?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what happened in episode 2? I forgot.
Episode 2 was it was when they're trying to get in, they're like plotting and what am I trying to say? They're getting in cahoots with the president's son to get into the White House, and then their foster mother goes and has a visit to, like, she has to go through like a screening to see if they're allowed over.
Yeah, so it was just like a build-up episode, really.
Pretty much, yeah. And then she dies.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was still fun, like, because the kills have been taken to 11 this season.
Yeah, and the fact that the CIA guy that they hired to keep the murders under wraps that's the episode when he's only letting the wife the first lady know about the murders. So like the president has no idea that there's been 3 or 4 murders in the White House.
Yeah, which is the one thing that I don't think is super real. Like she would not be this okay with putting her kids in danger. I don't think.
Yeah. Well, I think it's cool. I like his character because he's like he saw that one of the people were killed with the president's letter opener. And so now he like full on suspects that it might be the president of the United States doing these.
Yeah.
Which I think is fun.
Yeah. So then episode 3, which is the flashback Nika Tiffany episode, which is by far the best episode.
Always, yeah. The Tiffany episodes are always the best episodes.
Yeah, I just think that Nika is such a better character than the 3 kids. And Tiffany's story is linked to hers, that it just works better. Yeah. But there's a lot of fun stuff in this episode. We get spoilers for Chucky, obviously.
Yeah. We
get this ridiculous fake out of a dream that Chucky's having of him killing Andy. And they let you sit with it for a long time. Like you think that he's just killed Andy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, and he's stabbing him right in the fucking face.
Yeah.
I love it.
Stabbed him a million times.
Yeah, and there's just little things that are so good about this episode. Like he has a kill list on his phone. It's just Andy, Kyle, the 3 kids, and then he's adding people.
Yeah, adding people that the little girl wants. Oh yeah, I hated my first grade teacher.
I fucking love that. And then we find out that he's aging in this episode because of an exorcist that happened in season 2.
Yeah.
And he goes to a doctor's office, and we're like, this is super weird, but it's a voodoo doctor office.
Yeah.
It's fucking
hilarious.
Hilarious. Like, no other franchise could pull this shit off, and you'd be okay with it. But you're just okay with it.
Yeah.
And I mean, when I say the kills have been taken to 11, they've been fucking taken to 11. In episode 3, we get the Andy fake out, and then we also get
the voodoo doll kill.
Yes, the voodoo doll kill. Well, no, that was in episode 4.
Tiffany does the voodoo doll to the other lady that's in special.
Yeah, no, that's in episode 4.
What?
Yeah.
How?
Because she's now in prison because she got arrested in episode 3 for all those murders. We got to see her on trial and everything, and now she's in prison because it's 9 months later, which is what episode 4 is going on. Like her timeline has caught up with the other timeline.
Oh, really? I swore it happened in the 3rd one.
I know there's another good kill in episode 3, but we could talk about the voodoo kill, which might be the best kill I've ever seen in anything because it was that good.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
The character that she's got a voodoo doll of is like supposed to be like a parody of Martha Stewart, where she's like this evil. Well, she's a murderer.
More. Yeah, she's done worse things.
She's a murderer, but she's also a celebrity chef.
Yeah.
So she's in prison and she's like cooking for all the inmates, and it's kind of like a show. And Tiffany has a voodoo doll of her, and she starts making her cut herself or stab herself in the back, and then she slams her head on something, and then puts her hand on the grill. Or in the freaking, then douses her head in the fryer.
Yeah.
And it just goes on and on and on. And it's ridiculous. And it was fucking awesome.
Yeah. And everyone's just like, what's going on?
Yeah. I fucking loved it.
Yeah.
And then episode 4 is when they actually infiltrate the White House.
For the Halloween party.
It's all just... Like, what happens there is ridiculous, too. He drops the chandelier on a bunch of guests, and it freaking...
Big mama chandelier,
yeah, it fucking smashes all of them. And they introduced this nanny lady who was all... I don't know what it is about this show, getting rid of all these quirky characters right after they introduce them. But, like, they introduced this quirky nanny, and then they fucking cut her face off, like, in the same episode. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. The show's great. It's just something different every week, and it's just
Yeah, you never know what you're gonna get.
yeah.
And like it's one of those shows where I do kind of like what you do with the Santa Claus, where I'm like, I don't want to watch this, and it comes on and I'm like, God, this show's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah. Yeah, it is true.
So we had a long wait for the next half because they are currently filming the second half of the season now. What do you think? Like, do you think that this is going to be the end? Because Chucky is old and dying.
I don't know. They'll probably find some way. Some way.
And here's the thing: is that Brad Dourif is quite old.
Yeah.
And like he looks a little rough the last few times I've seen him. I wonder if he's like literally trying like they're like, we need to end this before
To like finish his legacy.
yeah, before he's like over this shit and wants to retire. He might be over it already.
Yeah. I know that even when the show was even being started, I think he had his like he was hesitant to do the voice. Even though it's just voice, like he's just doing voice acting, but he is getting old.
Yeah. Because like this seems like it could be. I mean, the end of season 2 almost felt like an end. That final episode.
Mm-hmm.
But this really feels like they're building up to like have this be the final Chucky thing.
Did they kill Kyle?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, so she's still because she's with Glenn or Glinda, right?
I don't think so. Glenn and Glinda were fused back together, or were put back into one body.
Oh,
and then they just went off.
What happened to her? Because she was the one driving the van in season 2 when they got Nika out of Tiffany's house.
Yeah,
We've just not seen her since then.
I think when Andy,
we don't even know what Andy's doing really either.
No, because when Andy and her showed up at the school, and they helped them kill the final Chucky. They thought it was the final Chucky, and then they just leave.
Yeah.
And it's weird that the kids haven't told them. Maybe they have. I don't know. We'll see. But it really does feel like this could be the end. But I would wish that they would do one more movie to like really bring it all together. You know,
You might just just do the season and then finish it off.
yeah. But I mean, the show is very fun.
And do a whole twist on it. Make it all of the kids and Andy and Skylar going after Chucky, and it's just we follow Chucky the whole time, and he's just trying to survive these attacks because he's old. It's just a flip it. They're like coming in. It's like a horror movie, but Chucky's your final girl. That'd be cool.
That would be cool.
Let me go contact Don Mancini.
I'm telling you, I would have him. I'd have him finish everyone, I think. And like I would have him win because he's just
And then die of old age.
and then die. Yeah, I'd have him win and then die, and that's how I would have it. I'd have it bleak as hell because out of all the killers, he's got the most personality, and I think that people watch for Chucky. People don't watch. I feel like people don't watch things for Michael. They watch things for Laurie Strode.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't watch things for Jason. They just watch for him to do stupid shit. They watch it for the kills, necessarily.
Yeah.
People watch Chucky for Chucky. So I would have him win.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
We should totally email him.
And then we have Monarch, which is also, we're talking about episode 2, 3, and 4.
Mm-hmm.
So, spoilers for Monarch, obviously. Yeah. Episode 2 is God, this is a hard one to talk about because it's all the jumping around.
Mm-hmm.
The kids in the modern time, this is when Monarch is coming after them and they're all freaking out.
Yeah.
And then in the past, we went further in the past to see how those characters all met and started Monarch.
Yeah.
So, what do you think of this episode? Because I think that this one and episode 1 really work together, and like they set this whole groundwork, and the show really shines, especially in the past. I think.
Yeah, well, the past is just seems like it's more fun.
Yeah.
Because it's dealing with. It's like a discovery. It's like they're treasure hunting, but they're hunting for monsters.
Exactly.
It's pretty fun.
Exactly.
That's not the one where we see Godzilla, is it? It's the next episode.
That's the next one. That's the one where they go and they meet Bill and
They run into him.
yeah, in the forest, and then
That's when they discover that they're feasting on radiation, or they're attracted to radiation.
yeah, and then they find the ship.
The ship.
Yeah, the ship that's in the middle of the woods.
Oh yeah,
The big boat. Yeah, I think the show shines in the past. I think the characters are a little bit better in the past also.
Yeah, they also put this they have a lot of characters in the past that have cameras that are filming, and so when they'll show you the clips that they're filming, and they look like the 1950s
Yeah.
Godzillas.
Right. It looks
cool.
fun. I don't know. So as we watch more, this feeling lessened. But initially, I always felt like it was a love triangle in the past. Even though,
I thought about it.
yeah, like it just seems like it could have been there. Like Lee definitely loves Dr.
Kira.
Yeah, Mura.
That was a K.
I think it's him.
Oh, okay.
But she obviously marries Bill Randa, who is John Goodman's character from Kong Skull Island.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So, oh my God. So the two kids that found out that they are brother and sister, or half brothers, their grandfather is John Goodman.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they're both he is Bill Randa, and they are Kentaro and Kate Randa.
Dang.
I think, or at least watching episode 2, I was like, I don't know if maybe Lee is actually one of their grandmas or grandparents, or is actually both their grandparents. And what's their father's name? Hiroshi?
Yeah, I think so.
Hiroshi might be his kid.
Yeah. Because he does talk about how he's a special kid and blah 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 all the time.
But by the time we get to like episode 4, I don't necessarily think that anymore.
Yeah, it feels unnecessary.
Yeah,
But it would just be if they're gonna kill Kurt Russell and they find that out right before, because then they make him care more.
right. But I do like the whole dynamic that they have. So it's like these 3 random people. He's a military, she's a scientist, and he's a ex-military, lights, cameras, wants to prove monsters exist.
Yeah.
And they just make Monarch. Like, it's just them 3 at the start.
And it's also nice to watch how, like, he understands how the government works and knows they need money for Monarch funding.
Right.
But they're like, oh no, we're worrying about the we can't hurt the monsters. We gotta learn about them. And he's just like, if you do that, we're out of money.
Right, exactly.
So like, you gotta take some. I don't know. There's some saying about that.
Yeah. So I told you people are complaining about there not being enough monsters. There's a monster in every episode so far.
Second one showed the bat.
Yeah. So there was a bat creature that was living on the ship.
Yeah, and then there's the third episode is when we see an old footage of Godzilla.
Yeah,
and then
we also see
the
mole creature,
the mole thing, and then the fourth episode there's more of the mole.
Yeah,
more of the mole. Crazy, weird. I don't understand it.
The mole.
It's weird.
I
man.
love it.
Yeah. The mole is cool. When it came out, I was like, "Is that a mole?"
Yeah. When it came out, I was like, "What the hell?" I was like, "That's a Titan mole."
Yeah.
I was like, "This is so fucking cool."
It's cool. With pangolin scales.
Yeah, and it breathes ice, which is awesome.
It sucks heat.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It doesn't breathe ice. It sucks heat. There's not even a yeah.
So then, on the other side of the episode, the modern characters, the grandkids and his ex-girlfriend, are on the run, and they find Kurt Russell at like a nursing home for Monarch employees. It's like a weird Monarch prison, and they break him out, and that's when the episode ends. So yeah, like I thought that was a good episode.
Yeah.
And then episode 3 starts right there.
Yeah, they're on a what are those called? Like a ferry or like a boat. They're in the van that they left in, and they're on a boat.
Right.
And then everyone's like, it's about them arguing. They're like, my dad got disappeared in Alaska. Why are we going to Korea?
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, and then they something's going, like they have these papers from their grandfather or from their dad, I guess. But I think the grandfather's papers are in there too, because that's why they showed him throw it into the water, John Goodman.
Oh,
It's those papers, and so his son found them. Now the grandkids have them, and Kurt Russell knows something about. There's something with those papers that they're not telling us.
Yeah, Kurt Russell knows something,
Yeah. And the one guy from Monarch that's coming after him knows that he knows something, but we don't know what it is.
Yeah, I bet if it has something to do with that crack in episode 4.
Oh yeah,
He knows. I think there's something sleeping. I wonder if it's a big villain.
I was like, well, I wonder. This is in between Godzilla and King of the Monsters, so it could just be about Ghidorah.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah,
But Ghidorah was frozen in Antarctica.
Yeah. So
Unless they moved him there. What if he's frozen in Alaska and they move him to Antarctica? The head.
Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, they meet Kurt Russell, and there's something weird about Kurt Russell too, because he should be a lot older looking than he is.
Yep.
And they reference that. They're like, oh,
You should be like 100 and something years old.
and he's like, just good genes.
Yeah.
So there's something there too that's going on. So it's weird. And then in this episode in the past is when we get to see that they got the money from the military, but they need to prove that the monsters are real. So they're using a bomb to lure out Godzilla, and we get to see Godzilla before the 2014 Godzilla even. And he is slim and
He looks smaller, yeah.
yeah, he's definitely smaller. I think they make it a point that so in Godzilla King of the Monsters, after they blow him up again to like get him supercharged to fight Ghidorah, they talk about how he got bigger. And the design's always just a little different in every movie. I think this is supposed to explain why. Just like when he gets these big pumps of radiation, he mutates, you know?
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you know, the Godzilla community is fucking crazy. And they're like, oh, his spine is different in this movie. I'm like, why is his spine is different? And like they got fucking different pictures, and they got red circles all over them. You know, they're going crazy. Like,
yeah, people love Godzilla.
They do. They love Godzilla. So I think this is a great way to explain why he's going to look different. It looks different in all of them, and he's going to look different again in the new movie.
Yeah,
because I've seen some toy leaks, and he looks different.
Really?
Yeah,
it's drastic.
He's getting an upgrade in this next movie.
Nice. God, this next movie is gonna be so cool. Because I just want to see. Well, I want to know why the orangutan is like. Why would he be fighting Kong? I don't know. We'll watch those movies before.
Yeah.
And then yeah.
I wish that they would have shown Godzilla still standing there. I know it wouldn't have made sense.
Just tanked it?
Yeah, just fucking.
Yeah. It would have been so cool.
It would have been cool, but
they didn't even show the mushroom cloud of it at all.
No. But they had to have thought that he would have died then, because then otherwise 2014 Godzilla wouldn't have made sense, you know, because they would have still been on high alert.
Yeah.
Because after they blow him up, Monarch is still like a small little thing, and by the 70s when Kong Skull Island takes place, the military still doesn't really care. or even know. Because John Goodman's still a fucking psycho trying to prove that monsters exist.
Yeah.
So they just think they handled it. Like, oh yeah, we killed Godzilla. And it just kind of dropped from there.
There's one thing in the show that I wanted to reference because it's never, in any movie ever I've ever seen, it's never shown, is the relationship between Dr. Kira and, like, the general. Or the fact that he's talking about, when they talk about the bombs being dropped on Japan, and she's, like, still salty about it because it was recent.
Yeah.
And no one ever, because, like, nowadays, like, Japan's fine, like, there's no bad blood between Japan and America,
Right.
really. But even when they show back then, and you have a Japanese character and an American character, they never show any hatred.
Right.
But this is like, they talk about it, and she gets all like emotional about it, and or they, like, are kind of walking on eggshells around that subject with her.
Yeah.
Which is I've never seen in anything before.
Yeah, I think that even with it's definitely a choice, because with the first episode, the reason Lee gets sent to her, I guess in the beginning of the second episode, the reason they send him to her to protect her is because he stood up for a Korean girl that some other...
Oh, in the bar.
Yeah, that were some other military people were messing with.
Yeah, yeah.
So they already know that he has the kind of character to, not be prejudiced or racist. So that's why they send him. So, like, it's definitely all there,
Yeah.
And it is a fun choice, because even I just watched the original Godzilla. There isn't even any hate or animosity in that, and that was just 10 years after the bombing, which is crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like, they definitely talk about it and how awful it is in that movie, and that movie's dismal, but it's not like any hatred towards America, which is crazy. It's just how Japan is. Like, that's how their culture is,
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that too, and I like that she even tried to stop it, and he had to run her down.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's not even like, I don't even think she just necessarily, I mean, she obviously didn't want to kill Godzilla, but it's just like, also, why use a bomb, to do it? Like, it's kind of like
I mean, what else are you going to use?
a symbolic thing, though,
Yeah, it's symbolic, but, like, what else are they going to use? They don't have a freaking death ray or something.
That's true. And then, so in this episode, they ended up in Alaska, the modern people.
Yeah.
And that's when we get the mole, and it ends on a cliffhanger with the mole about to attack them.
Really?
Yeah, that's how episode 3 ended.
Episode 3.
Yeah, episode 3 was like,
Yeah.
froze the one dude, turns toward them, and fucking cuts. I was like,
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah. I think you were talking about episode 4. I was like, no, it didn't.
So yeah, I really liked episode 3 again.
Yeah, episode 3 was nice. Going to Alaska's fun. Seeing the mole was fun. I don't think you said people are crabby about not having a lot of monsters. Well, I think there's plenty. Even I think one episode is only like 40 minutes long.
Yeah,
and so it's just
not only are they're complaining about not having enough monsters.
Is it just Godzilla in general?
It might be just Godzilla. Like, they're just mad that it's a lot of human drama. I'm like, but these are better characters than we've ever had in a fucking Godzilla movie before. Like, ever. Not just a monster verse. Ever. These are the best fucking characters we've ever had.
Yeah, like the whole mystery with Lee in general is just the best thing we've seen in Godzilla.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's funny that how do I say this? It's like this is gonna be weird. This might be a hot take.
Okay.
But like Kurt Russell's at that age where he just doesn't care anymore.
Yeah, he doesn't.
But like he's doing this role, and the fact that he doesn't care, and you feel like he's just rolling up on set and just living this character, or pretty much living like Kurt Russell, makes me feel like his acting is 10 times better than everyone else, because everyone else is like everyone else is trying to be super serious and like, this is my first major role. I've never been in anything, and like, I
Right.
got to take this seriously. And Kurt Russell's like, this is like, I do this in my sleep.
Yeah.
And he's just chilling. But like, his character is more believable, and like he feels more in that world than they do, even though you can tell that they're really trying hard to do it. But he's just like, I've done this my whole life, and it just comes off as his acting just seems standout to me as opposed to everyone else.
Yeah, I think it.
Him, and then the flashback Dr. Kiora, she's really good too. Honestly, her and then the guy playing young Jack Goodman's good. Jack, is his name Jack Russell? Is his name Jack?
Who?
Kurt Russell's son, like in real life. Is his name Jack?
I don't know his real name.
He's like
Wyatt.
You're right. He's really good, but he's not as good as
Yeah.
the other two.
I think it's one of those things like, it's kind of, they picked a person who would just be able to come in and act because they've been doing it their whole life. And he's supposed to be playing a character who has dealt with monsters his whole life. So it just works.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So then on to episode 4. And this is the first time the show dipped for me. And that's just because there is no past characters. There's no past storyline.
Well, is it really?
The past storyline is Kintaro and Sam's relationship.
Oh, yeah. Spent a lot of time on that.
Yeah. So we split the episode with them meeting and their early relationship, and then what's going on in Alaska. And not having the 50s characters really hurt the episode for me. I'm hoping that we're just not done with them. Because, like, we're at a point where we could be done with them. We saw how Monarch started, how it got its military funding, and like, that could be it. We see it in the 70s in Kong Skull Island, and then we see the present, and, like, you can infer what happened. Yeah. But I hope that's not the case. You know, I hope that this was just because we needed the relationship between Kintaro and Sam, that they just put that on the back burner for, later.
Yeah.
The episode still wasn't bad by any means. I just felt it. Like, it felt a little bit long,
Well, they spend so much time on that, and then, like, he has his... They spend a lot of time on Kintaro's, like, vision. Like, being in the cold, his, like, vision of his dad and of his artwork, and they spend so much time on it.
Yeah.
And then I feel like the scene where they split, where he's just like, I'm not gonna go. It's very... Like, Kurt Russell's, it was kind of like, no, there's no way this would happen, but also Kurt Russell's like, I'm not dealing with this. We're all freaking starving and dying and freezing to death. So you can go do whatever you want to do, and we'll go do our way.
Yeah, well, I also think, he said that this place is he says this place is stranger than you'll ever know. When they ended up back at the campsite and they walked in a circle. So I'm wondering if he knows something about this place. And just knew that Kintaro needed to have his excursion.
Yeah.
We don't know. But we get to see more of the mole. The mole monster is just a looming threat this whole episode. Mm-hmm. Chasing them, coming up to attack them several times, and we find out that he does absorb heat. And that's what he eats, basically.
Yeah, and he destroys the last... he destroys her laptop, which is the only thing they had of those papers from John Goodman.
Yeah, because they had to use the papers for the fire, because of the one... Like, the papers that were in the tent.
Yeah.
They had to use that to build a fire because Sam fell in water and was going to get hypothermia.
Yeah.
And I don't think she would have made it, honestly.
Yeah.
That's how long ago.
and on the ferry, they dumped the old files of them. I don't even know what those were. They were like old 1920s hard drives.
Yeah.
Thrown in the water. So they dumped those, and then because he was like, oh, I have copies on my laptop.
Yeah.
And then the mole monster freezes her laptop. Freezes it to the point, like not like freezes.
Yeah.
Like you can just shatter it.
And Kurt Russell, when he realizes that it's frozen, he is pissed.
Yeah.
So like, there's definitely something on those papers or on those files that he wants for some reason. I don't know. And that's how the episode ended.
So Kentaro got to a base that had a radio, radioed for help. Got sent helicopters. They get Kentaro. He shows up right when they're getting attacked by the mole monster. They get in. They're flying away, and then when they land, I don't know where they landed at, but when they land, it's the guy from Monarch.
Tim.
Sure.
That's his name.
Yeah,
His name's Tim.
Tim from Monarch. They land, and he's like, hey, Colonel Lee.
Yeah.
How's it going? Long time no see, or whatever.
And it was
then
good.
Cuts.
God. Yeah, see, it still ended good. It was just one of those, it really was one of those episodes where we're just seeing relationships.
Mm-hmm.
But like, there was enough monster mayhem that I wasn't super bored.
Yeah, no, I'm quite enjoying the show.
It's crazy that people are so mad about it. Maybe it is just because there's no name monsters. Like, it's not Godzilla or it's not Mothra, or King Kong.
Well, the bat though, he has a name, doesn't he?
He's very similar to a Toho monster called Barugon, I believe.
Yeah.
But
no, Barugon has a big old tail, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's got a big old tail, and it's not him because they only have the rights for Godzilla, Ghidorah, Rodan, and Mothra. Oh, and Mechagodzilla. So they don't have any of the other rights, which is a shame because I wish some of the other monsters would show up.
Yeah. Who's the one with the drill hands?
Gigan, I believe, is his name.
I like Gigan.
And he goes from slicer hands, and then he gets drill hands.
I thought the slice hands was a different character.
Maybe. There's a lot of them. So, like, Megalon is one of them. Gigan is one of them. And, like, it could be one of them has drill hands, one of them has slicers.
What about the Jet? What's his name?
Jet Jaguar?
Jet Jaguar. Yeah. I don't even know what he is, actually. Is he an android?
He's a mech suit.
Oh, okay.
That becomes sentient over time. These fucking...
He's running kung fu against Godzilla.
Yeah, he's only in one movie, I think, which is crazy. I watched all the Showa era Godzillas, which is most of them. It's like almost half. There's probably 15 fucking movies, and the movies are awful most of the time. But all of those big, like, there's a few big movies in there, and the Jet Jaguar movie is one of them. It's him and Godzilla have to team up against the Drill Man and Ghidorah, and it's just a 2v2. It's fucking epic.
Hey, so, because I haven't seen most of the Godzillas. Have you ever seen the one with Space Godzilla?
No. So, the Shogun era has, Mechagodzilla, Ghidorah, Rodan, Mothra, all of them, all throughout. And then the next set of movies are it's called the Heisei era. And that's probably the most thought out whole era. Like, it's all very canon based. Like, every movie directly ties into the next. And that's where Space Godzilla is. He's in the second last movie. Those movies were owned, or had just the distribution rights for America were owned by this company that went under, and they haven't come out since like 2000. So those movies sell on eBay for a ridiculous amount of money, and you can't get them. But
Do you even stream them?
they're not streaming anywhere. You can get them on DVD. Like you can't even get them on Blu-ray.
Well, they didn't fix that.
Like, and the only one I've seen, I think, is Godzilla versus Biollante, which is the plant one that we had on VHS. That VHS goes for like $75.
Dang.
I was like, we need to find that thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like I watched, it was the first thing I did when HBO Max came out. Before Godzilla versus Kong, I was like, I'm gonna watch all the Godzillas, and they have every Showa era movie, and I watched every single one of them, and I was like, all right, where are the Heisei? They're nowhere. You're spending hundreds of dollars to get them off eBay, to watch them on DVD.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
There are rumors that that company that bought the other one out is finally going to release them because Godzilla's getting so big. But
it makes sense.
Yeah.
This is free money.
Yeah, and like those are the ones that hard Godzilla fans are like, these are the fucking movies. Because that has, not only does it have Space Godzilla, but it also has Orga.
Oh, Orga's good character.
Yeah, and Destroya, who...
Destroya was really good. It's big.
Yeah,
Destroya's huge.
Huge, and he's the one that finally, in that timeline, he kills Godzilla.
Yeah, Destroya's like, he looks like a big old bull, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah,
He's got two big horns. And he's got wings, too. He's a big old dragon.
Yeah.
He's huge.
Yeah, he's massive.
Yeah.
So, like, that era is the one Godzilla fans really, really like, and it's crazy you can't get that.
It was funny, it's like, half the people watching this, because, you know, Godzilla is like a real niche thing. And they're like, where do they talk about Space Godzilla? Like, you don't know about Space Godzilla.
Yeah, I was like, I'm pretty big Godzilla fan.
Yeah, it's funny.
And then there's only one more era, or I guess we're technically on the fourth era now. But the third era are those crazy movies like Final Wars and Tokyo SOS and like the real campy, super Japanese anime ones, which I've seen several of those. I haven't seen all of them, but it's a shame that middle ones I can't get.
Yeah. I'll look into that. I'm going to look into it, see if I can find them.
Find them, download them?
Probably,
yeah. That'd be nice. Because we should watch all the Godzillas at some point.
God, that's like watching all the James Bonds. It's insane.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's like 35 movies.
Have you seen Baby Godzilla?
What
was it called? Godzilla's Son?
Son of Godzilla? Yeah. Is that one of them? I mean, I have seen one. He has a son in the Showa era and in the Heisei era.
Okay.
So I've definitely seen some. His name is Manila.
Manila?
Yeah,
like a folder?
Like mini Manila in the Showa era. And he's awful. Like every movie that he's in is fucking atrocious.
Yeah, I told my wife about Baby Godzilla and she did not believe me and she looked it up and she was like, "You're right." I said, "I know."
Well, there's Baby Godzilla's in the 1998 one too, with Matthew Broderick.
Oh,
there's tons of Baby
yeah.
Godzillas. He's basically a staple character.
People don't talk about that movie.
No. Like that
I want to watch it. I want to watch it because I've only seen it like twice when I was a kid. And I know I really liked it, but it's probably terrible.
It's one of those things like I loved it as a kid because I was 8 when it came out.
Yeah,
It was awesome. But that's one of those things that's still super hot in the Godzilla community because Toho owns that character still, and they've changed his name to Zilla. And he's not Godzilla. He's just like this lesser creature. And the people that like that movie are like, oh, he's fucking Godzilla to me. He's always Godzilla. And it's just an argument to this day. And like, bro, that movie's fucking 25 years old.
Yeah, he's really small in that movie, too.
He's a lot smaller than the current Godzillas for sure.
Yeah.
But Godzilla's just kept getting bigger throughout the years, honestly.
Yeah.
So yeah, now on to did you watch any extra movies?
No.
So I did watch Godzilla, the original.
Yeah.
Because we are watching Godzilla -1 this upcoming week.
Yeah, that'll be our new movie. Freaking so pumped.
Yeah.
I have tickets for your Showtime too.
Nice.
Already.
I mean the movie's excellent. Obviously, the original. It plays like a mystery for the first half, where it's like you obviously know the movie's called Godzilla and there's gonna be a giant monster, but it's like this, like, is it a giant monster? Is it something else? And they really play with it. And I was a little taken aback about how bad the original like the first reveal is, because it's these people on this island, and then you can like see over the mountain, and then his head just pops up, and it's like, that's your first reveal. You're not having him pop out the water.
It's supposed to be how massive he is, you know.
Yeah, I think that they wanted to show you how he's massive, but they didn't want to show you the rest of him yet. And I was like, that's a little weak. But the movie plays just incredibly sad. Like, it's just a depressing movie, you know, because it's all about atomic, you know, the atomic war, like bombs and everything, and the aftermath of it all. Mm-hmm. And it's not like, oh god, it's not one that I would watch a lot because it's just so depressing. And I'm kind of glad that they have the Americanized version. You know about the two different versions, right?
I don't think so.
Oh, so they took footage from the original movie and they just added an American actor, and then they shot additional scenes to make it make sense, and it came out a couple years later everywhere. And that movie's obviously a little bit more fun. It's not as good. It's nowhere near as good as the original, but yeah. It's like, do you want to watch some Godzilla and have some fun? It's more like that. But like, this movie's dark. Like, there's a scene where this woman is like, Godzilla's attacking, and she has her 3 kids, and she's just like, all right, this is it. We're gonna be with Daddy soon. We're gonna be with Daddy, and she's like fucking crying. And it's just like, my God, it's just,
yeah, it's just showing
like the you know, the atrocities of atomic bombs.
Which I think what
this new one's gonna be.
This new one is.
Yeah. I think that's why I wanted to watch this. I wanted to, because this is the first time we've ever gone back, and it's like a true reboot, you know. And so I did want to say, like, after the first reveal, there's a second reveal where he's attacking some ships on the ocean, and he does stand up, and he's just fucking cool, even back in the day. And I was reading, they made his scales and his bumps look like the scar tissue that would have happened if you survived the blast.
Oh,
like, that is awesome.
That is cool.
That's fucking awesome. And then there's like a subplot. I guess it's not a subplot. Dr. Shirazawa, he's come up with this new weapon of mass destruction, which just liquefies all of the air in a blast radius. And even though it's the only thing that they can use to kill Godzilla, he still doesn't want to do it because he knows if people know about it, they'll use it in war, and it'll be worse than the atomic blast.
Yeah.
And so he decides that he's going to get rid of all of his records, and he's going to kill himself to set the bomb off and kill Godzilla at the same time, so no one can use it. So it's like, it just hits you from multiple ways of how awful the bombings were. Yeah. And it's depressing. It really is depressing. But I gave it a 9 because it's that good. But I would not watch it over and over again because I was sitting there. I was high, and I was like, my gosh, it's about to make me cry. I was like, Godzilla about to make me cry.
That's hilarious. Oh, God. I do need to watch it.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch the American version, having this fresh in my mind just to see, because I remember more about the American version because that was just the only way we could watch it for years.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the only one I've seen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, the Japanese one's good. All right, on to the rewind. Man, I knew this was gonna be a long episode because I fucking love Godzilla.
Next episode, we actually have more Godzilla to talk about.
Yeah. All right. So what do you think about Sunshine?
I mean, Sunshine's freaking great.
It really is. So I had a little bit of an epiphany, kind of. The last time I'd seen this movie, I was probably like 16 years old, and like I knew who H.P. Lovecraft was, but I didn't like know anything. I didn't really learn his style until after playing Bloodborne. This movie is basically Lovecraft if the sun was an eldritch horror.
Yeah.
It really is.
I'm so glad that you thought of
That I
this,
picked up on that?
because I do have that the sun is. I don't have it as an eldritch horror. I have the sun as like a like an antichrist.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. Because it's crazy. Because Searle quotes Pinbacker, where when he says we're all just stardust, and that's what Pinbacker says. And Searle has no idea that, like, but they both bask in the sun,
Right.
all the time. And I'm like, the sun's talking to these motherfuckers, and it's trying to end humanity.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, so it's a different revelation that I had.
Yeah, on my first...
You thought they just crazy.
Exactly. My first playthrough, or my first playthrough. The first time I watched this movie, I just thought the sun was driving them insane.
Yeah.
But it's not that. The sun is an entity that is influencing them.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It is. It's fucking good. The opening shot where it looks like you're coming in on the sun, and then it rotates, and it's just the shield mirror.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
The sun looks incredible in this movie.
Yeah.
It's crazy because it's so old.
No movie, I don't think any movie has an aesthetic like this movie, where it's just sun.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I told my wife for Halloween we should get the golden astronaut suits from Sunshine.
They're ridiculous, man.
Yeah, they're insane. Man, there's so much stuff that is so great about this movie. One, I think, is the crew. Is that every single one of them are a character, and they're all a good character.
Yeah.
And they're all, like, even the characters that you're supposed to hate, like the second in command, like, it still makes sense. And it's, like, serious. And one thing about it, they're all serious about their job. None of them are like the pilot. You know the pilot that they were like, oh yeah, he's the best pilot in the league, but he's like doing it, smoking weed and drinking all the time. And like, oh, I got it. All the crews have one of those, but this doesn't. This is like super serious.
That's because it is super serious. If they fail, humanity literally dies.
Yeah, and it's fun too because like there's the moment in the show where the moment in the movie where they're like, oh, we have to kill. For us to have enough oxygen left to finish our mission, we have to kill 3 people or whatever. My wife was all about that. She's like, yeah. She's like, I would kill this person, this person, and this person. And I'm just like, oh, okay. Like, this is crazy. And so we got into a little debate about who we would kill. But she wanted to kill Chris Evans. I'm like, he's the only one who is reasonable.
He's the only one making fucking sense.
Yeah.
If you would have listened to him, it wouldn't have even... You guys would have lived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's like Pinbacker's first speech, like the little clip they have of him when he's like kind of going crazy and they don't know what's going on. It's so good. Not his final speech, but his speech when Cillian Murphy finds him in the sun bay, and he's like there'll be a tiny moment in history where there's only one man and God left. And he's like, am I that man?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God.
It's so good.
Yeah. And then Cillian Murphy goes, my God. And he's like, no, not yours. He does that.
Yeah, it's good.
I was like, that's insane. That's so good. And the fact that that's Mark Strong just makes it even crazier. That it's like, this cast is insane.
Yeah, it really is. It's an intense movie. Mm-hmm. Like... because it is very serious, and they all do take it very seriously. But I noticed this time. Anytime he is on screen, Pinbacker, it's all just like...
It's annoying.
It is annoying.
It's too much.
But it's because he is literally getting enlightened. Like, he is not just human anymore. He is distorting time and space around him.
You really think? Oh,
I legitimately think that he is. and it is annoying.
Yeah,
Like from a filmmaking
well,
perspective.
just a viewing.
Yeah, a viewing perspective. But like,
stupid.
I literally think the sun he is above humans.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
he is enlightened, which is bonkers. But I fucking
It's
love
a cool
it.
decision. That'd be interesting to ask Danny Boyle.
Yeah.
Well, did he write this movie? Is Danny Boyle a writer, director, or just a director?
I don't know. This is the only movie of his I like.
Yeah, really.
The fucking music is epic in this movie the whole time. Like, oh my god.
No, everything about this movie is freaking great.
Yeah.
The cast, just the dynamic between the cast and how they talk to each other just works so well. It's like what is that? What is it? It's like kind of like that blue collar talk from The Thing that we talked about.
Yeah.
It's like that, and they just do it so good. In their mission, like, it just makes sense. The ship design's so smart. Everything just feels so real in this movie.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah, we went straight to the Lovecraft and the horror, but like coming up to the ship, it is top level sci-fi.
Huh.
You know, when like they have to go out and fix some of the shields and they have to rotate the ship so the sun's not directly on them, and then it starts to come back and like things disintegrating in the sun is fucking cool. You know?
Yeah.
Like just anything that goes outside that shield just fucking burns up instantly and melts. I love that shit.
It's Alex Garland.
Who?
Alex Garland wrote this movie. The guy who did Annihilation and Ex Machina.
Oh. No wonder we like this movie.
Yeah.
This is incredible.
He just wasn't quite into directing yet. So they gave it to Danny Boyle.
My God. I bet it would have been better if he directed it.
Oh, yeah. I hate Danny Boyle's style of directing.
Yeah.
It's so annoying.
But yeah, I mean, like, yeah, up until we find out that it's Lovecraftian, it is, I mean, top level sci-fi.
Yeah, and it's and like it just makes things so intense. Like the scene where they have to shoot themselves from the one ship to the other is
Yep.
so intense.
Yeah, it really is.
And it doesn't give the audience time to think. Like they're like, this is what's happening. Here's our plan, and then they start wrapping themselves in the freaking insulation.
Yeah, and in a lesser movie, all of them would have made it, you know.
No.
But like this one,
One of them's got to stay behind, and one of them doesn't make the travel.
yeah.
Yeah, no, it's just.
And then right after that, they're like thinking that because they lost them two, we only need to kill one more, and one of the dudes is already losing his shit. The one that
He thinks that
he didn't rotate the stuff, so he thinks it's all like he just killed the
the
entire
captain.
planet.
It was the captain.
Well, he killed the captain, but he also thinks he killed the entire planet
Yeah,
because he broke the ship, and he's depressed. So they're just gonna go kill him. Basically, they decide.
Yeah.
Well, they vote, and the one woman says no, and Chris Evans is like, "It don't matter what you say, actually."
Yeah.
And then you think they're in the clear, and then the ship. What's the ship's name?
Oh God.
It's fine. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The ship's like, no, actually, there's another person on the board. Unknown.
Yeah, you guys are running out of oxygen.
Yeah, you're running out of oxygen because there's someone on board that you don't know. And it's just like, the movie shifts, and you're just like, what is going on? It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it is freaking cool.
So what did you end up giving this movie?
I gave it a 8.5.
8.5.
What'd you give it?
I gave it a 9.
I'm down. I'm fine with going up to a 9.
Yeah.
I when I was watching it, the whole distorting effect, and it really bad at. It's really all Danny Boyle's decision. He's really bad at the fights. Like even when like Chris Evans and Cillian Murphy's character are just like tussling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. We both were like tussling.
when they're just tussling, like all they're doing is one of them is like has the other one wrapped around on the waist, and the other one's wrapped around here. They're like kind of like in a football position, and it's just like cut. I'm like, they're not even doing anything.
Yeah.
You're just trying to make it seem whatever. I'm like, just let us watch it.
Yeah.
They're not even doing anything where you need stuntmen, really.
Right.
And so that is what I was notching points down for, because I did not like that style, especially when Pinbacker, the whole third act with Pinbacker, he's just like boom, 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 cutting for no reason.
Yeah, it's too much. And it's like, not only is he cutting, he's just got like angles like fucking up here, and it's just like, it's shaking all the time. And
there's the final scene. One thing, I did not remember going back to Earth and them seeing the sun light back up.
Oh,
I
it's
totally forgot about that. But the final scene with man, I can't believe I don't remember Cillian Murphy's character's name. It's like Cinna. It's something weird like that.
Yeah.
Kada. No, I'm close. I don't know.
Kato?
I don't know. Well, anyway, when he puts off the bomb, and the sun's like, the ship is going into the sun, and then he gets that moment where the sun's like, the ship is literally like the surface of the sun's right here, and he gets that moment right in front of it, where he's just like, I don't know what he's doing. He's just like basking in it. You think that's too? You think that part ruins it for a lot of people? Because I feel like if like our grandpa or our mom watched that, they
wouldn't have realized that the sun was an entity that was influencing people, you know?
Yeah, but
because we know that, I don't think it ruined. Like, it didn't ruin it for me.
No, it doesn't ruin it for me either. But it's just like you think.
Yeah, maybe it does.
Just because it's like, so the whole entire time everything's so realistic, and then that happens, and then
it's very symbolic.
Yeah,
yeah, maybe it does lose people. I know the movie's not as well liked as it should be.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I think that hardcore science fiction people can't stand that it turns into a Lovecraftian horror at the end, and the people that would like the Lovecraft stuff get caught up on the sci-fi stuff, and then I think just Danny Boyle's awful decision making ruins it for some people too.
Yeah,
because
that's fair.
I didn't like all the time distorting bullshit either, but like I understood it, but I still would have. I think I would have done it a different way.
Yeah,
you know. Mm-hmm. But I really do like that movie.
Yeah, oh no, it's a great movie.
So all we got left is the series showdown / main movie of The Hunger Games, A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what did you think about this movie?
It was fine.
It was just fine?
It's fine. Like, it was like, it's on par with like the first Hunger Games. It's just, they made a lot of decisions that just needed to be changed. Or
interesting.
Not changed, or I don't know. There's a lot of part of it I just didn't like.
I think I'm going to convince you.
That you won't.
I think so.
No way. It's like when you have a movie called The Hunger Games, A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and the Hunger Games aspect of it is the worst part, and I feel like the whole entire Hunger Games could be cut from the movie, and then we would just be a better movie. Make it just...
Yeah, the Hunger Games have always been the worst part, though, of the Hunger Games. Like, they're not even in Mockingjay.
Yeah, I know.
You know, like...
Well, people hate those movies, though. People put Mockingjay below all the other ones. I mean, Mockingjay Part 1 is, I think, personally, is one of the best ones, but...
Yeah, I mean, I get where you're coming from, but, like, you know, it is supposed to be...
And the tone, let me tell you, everyone's all for her singing and stuff. It didn't make sense for her to sing at the reaping. It was stupid. I was just like, I was sitting there, I'm like, what are we doing?
Well, she's just a singer.
I know, but it's just, it didn't make sense. When it happened, I was just like, what is going on? And then she just kept singing, and they just let her sing for like 5 minutes. And I'm just like, what is happening? Like, let's just get on going.
Well, like she's like the inspiration for what the games become.
I know.
This show.
I know, but the singing at the reaping was weird.
People sing. She's a singer. That's the only way she can express herself.
Yeah, I didn't like her. I think it's just I don't like her character at all.
Really. Oh, you really don't like her character?
I don't think I do, no.
I like her character. I really like the movie. I think that it succeeds where a lot of prequels fail, and it makes you understand Snow more, gives you perspective on things that happened in the Hunger Games, without ruining the Hunger Games trilogy, if that makes sense. I think a lot of prequels throw a lot of bullshit at you, like, oh, here's the origin of this, and this tied in with this, and blah, blah, blah. And it, like, if you step back and look at it as a whole, it ruins things down the line. I don't think this does it. I think it enhances his character and why he's so obsessed with Katniss, Because there's just the parallels between Lucy Gray and Katniss are crazy. And I really liked it. I think that The Hunger Games is the weakest part, but I think it's meant to be the weakest part because this is a story about how the Hunger Games went from being just killing some kids in an arena to this spectacle that everyone waits for every year.
Yeah, they don't even get a reward. Their reward is you survive.
Yeah. And I think that, I'm pretty sure Snow is the one that comes up with this reward system because he knows that you need the fear, but you need that little bit of hope to keep everyone in control.
Yeah.
I think the movie should have been 2 movies, like a lot of people were saying.
Definitely.
Just because there's a lot of ground to cover.
Then you could have made the Hunger Games interesting.
Yeah, you could have made... I think the first movie could have been just up until the Hunger Games ends. And you could have really spent your time like an hour before the Hunger Games, an hour of the Hunger Games.
Yeah, and the first movie could have ended when he gets sent to where he gets sent to.
Right.
Like when they tell him that. And then the second movie just pick up when he gets there.
Yeah, and they could have really fleshed out everything. But I don't think that it was so cut back that it makes it bad or anything. I really enjoyed the movie. It's pretty hard to talk about without spoiling.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just go ahead. We'll go ahead.
Okay. Well, let's let everyone know what we're doing for next week for the people who won't do the spoilers.
Yeah, we'll rank this, though.
Oh, I give it a 7.5.
It gives it a 7.5 today. Or right
Today.
now. But I promise you, watch the movie, come back, watch the spoilers. He gonna be at least 8.5.
No way.
I give it a 9.
Jesus. That's insane.
It's not insane. The movie is fucking incredible, and Snow is
No, it doesn't make sense.
It does make sense.
No, where Snow is at the end of this movie does not akin him to where he is in Hunger Games.
What you talking about? Well, next week. Oh, we have to do the series showdown breakdown.
Oh. Okay. Well, I know what mine would be. Should we compare and then see where we would move something?
So yeah,
Catching Fire is probably number 1.
Catching Fire is number 1.
Yeah.
I would put this as number 2.
See, I would put Mockingjay Part 1 as number 2.
And then I would put Mockingjay 3, Mockingjay 1, Hunger Games.
Mockingjay 3?
Or Mockingjay 2, Mockingjay 1, Hunger Games. Sorry.
See, I would do Mockingjay 1, this, probably. And then Mockingjay 2, and then Hunger Games.
Yeah, so that's not that bad. You don't hate the movie.
No, I don't hate the movie. I think it's enjoyable. I just, there's a lot of problems I have with it.
Yeah. And then we should talk about our initial thoughts for our series showdown that we're starting next week too.
Yeah. What are we doing? Oh, big one.
So yeah, because we did the series showdown and the main movie together, it kind of fucked it all up.
Yep.
Do you want to just go into spoilers and?
We gotta tell people if they don't want spoilers what we're doing next week.
That's true. Okay, so next week we will be watching Melancholia, which we've never seen.
Correct.
The main movie will be Godzilla -1, and the series showdown we will be doing The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. We will be watching chronologically, not release date. We'll be watching The Hobbits first.
Yeah, Hobbits first.
We're gonna do two movies a week.
Yeah, will that be weird once we get to we'll watch Battle of Five Armies and then The Lord of the Rings, the first one? Do you think that's weird?
I think it's a little weird, but I think spending 3 weeks on The Hobbit is a long time too.
Yeah. Well, we could do a 2-1, 2-1. Like, watch the first two Hobbits.
I don't think it's that weird to do The Hobbit and Fellowship.
Yeah, I guess not. It'd be fun to talk about the different tones.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll do that. Since we're starting a new series next week, what are your thoughts on this series before you rewatch it?
I mean, this is the reason when we come up with these ideas to watch it. This one was just because I don't know if I've watched Lord of the Rings this year, because it's my once a year viewing. So I was like, well, let's just get that. Let's just watch that.
Yeah.
Incredible. Have a absolute blast watching them. I even have fun watching 2 of the 3 Hobbits.
Yeah.
I'm actually excited to watch Five Armies again, just to maybe hopefully like it better, or maybe worse. We'll see.
Yeah,
or just sit down and be in the right mindset to just enjoy it.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things. I've only rewatched all of the Hobbit movies. So I watched them all in theaters, obviously. And I've only rewatched them like back to back one time. And it did help.
Yeah.
Especially when you know what you're going in for. But yeah, the Lord of the Rings are fucking they're classics.
Yeah,
like they're
I'm just gonna have
amazing.
So fun. That's just gonna be it's just gonna be a good time.
Yeah, and I really do. I also enjoy the Hobbits 1 and 2, and I don't care that they're a little goofy, a little like the Hobbit was written for kids, and then the Lord of the Rings was not written for kids, and so for the movies to be a little bit like they're a lot more CGI, they're a little bit sillier. It's fine for me.
Yeah.
Well, I still think that Battle of Five Armies is going to be significantly lower than everything else. Like, obviously the Lord of the Rings aren't going to go below a fucking 8. There's no way.
Oh, no. I'm not even sure they're going to go below a 9.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Hobbits 1 and 2 are definitely going to stay, I think, an 8 or above for me.
Yeah.
But Battle of Five Armies might be...
7.
It could even be lower than a 7. It's that bad. It's going to be fun to just see how bad it is,
Yeah. I don't know if I've ever watched these movies like through a magnifying glass like I do for the show.
Oh,
either.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun.
And we're going to watch the extended versions of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, I know so much more about Tolkien lore because of the TV show and the guy I watch online. Oh my god!
You got a Lord of the Rings YouTuber?
He's like a TikToker, but yeah, he is. I know so much stuff. It's stupid. It's so stupid.
That's one of those things I've never gone deep because. It's fucking deep.
It's gnarly. Let me tell you, it's freaking gnarly. But yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. So that's what we'll be doing next week. For anyone that doesn't want to hear spoilers for the series or for Songbird and Snakes, thanks for listening. It is 2 guys and some movies.
Yeah.
Formerly known as Reels. But yeah, thanks for listening everywhere. podcast, YouTube on Monday.
Yep.
And thanks for listening. For everyone sticking around, we will go into spoilers and the changing of his ranking for the Songbird and Snakes.
Yeah, right. It won't happen.
Let me hear your problems. Go ahead.
Well, I think Snow at the end of the... So one, my biggest problem is Snow turns too fast. He just like... It's just like almost like a sanity switch flips in his head, and he just goes crazy. But there's one thing I do like. It's his little saying. It's like his little Game of Thrones saying. You know, like a Lannister always pays his debts. It's like Snow always lands on top.
Yeah.
And I really like that because that is what he makes. When he sends the clip, the recording of his friend...
Sejanus.
That's pretty funny. Dude, the guy playing Sejanus looks just like Vince D'Amelio. You know that
Vincent
D'Amelio, yeah.
D'Afarino?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
He does look like him.
Look
Yeah.
just freaking like him. Oh, you could just get... But anyway,
he sends that clip of him.
yeah, I know. I'm trying to think of... It's like he sends it... It's a tough decision, right? Because he knows he loves her, and he wants to stay with her, but he also knows that his family's doing bad in the capital, and so he sends the clip because he's like, "Oh, this will put me in good graces, and then I can save my family." So all I got to do is convince her to come with me to the capital. But I don't think he'd be mad at her for wanting to stay, like he is.
Oh, he's very possessive of her. Okay. So you think that he had a switch there in the cabin. I don't think so. I think that he's always been like that. He just... Okay. I don't think that he necessarily actually loves her. I think that he met her and he needed to make her a spectacle in the games, and he needed her to live. And because he needed all of that, but she's also just this gorgeous, charming woman, that what he's trying to accomplish becomes blurry. He's trying to keep her alive so that he wins this money, but he also kind of likes her, and it becomes this thing where, like, is he keeping her alive because of the money, or is he keeping her alive because he feels something for her? And I don't think he knows what he's doing.
Well, that's what she asked that.
Yeah,
And he's just like, why can't it be both?
because it can't. You know, I mean, I guess it could, but he likes the idea of her, and when he moves to 12, and you even like. He even starts to believe that he loves her, and he's completely fine with staying with her. But right when he gets offered an officer position, it doesn't even second guess it. He's just like, I'm going to District 2. He tells his family that he's got this job, that he's going to go to District 2. And it's not even a question of if I'm not going to go if she says she's not going to go. It's just, I'm going without her. He wasn't even going to tell her.
Yeah.
And then that happened. The rebel thing happens where he catches them with the guns, and he has to kill the mayor's daughter, because if she goes and has something done about Lucy, he's going to be thrown into it just out of approximation to her. And when he does that, and then he gives the guns away to the dude, he realizes he can't have the future that he wanted. So now, living with her is the best solution, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But the moment he sees the gun again, he knows, Lucy knows, everyone fucking knows that now he can have exactly what he wanted.
Because he can get rid of the guns.
Because he can get rid of the guns himself. So it's not a switch necessarily. It's just he's playing a game and he's trying to come out on top. And he's going to drop Lucy and go be a captain in 2 and work his way up. And turning in his friend is going to be that boost that he needs, to get back to the capital. And then everything goes to shit, and he's like, well, I'm just going to live here with her, and it'll be fine. But the moment that happens, it's just like, oh no, I can go to the capital. I have one loose end, and it's her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the reason I think that it really works well. So the one problem I had with the movie is, why do we not hear about Lucy Gray?
Ever.
And in the books, I don't know, they should have threw a line in here. In the books, Viola Davis's character just has her wiped out from history, because these poorer capitals definitely don't have the televisions, the amount that the other ones have. It makes sense that at least District 12 wouldn't necessarily all remember her, and because she disappears and it's 70 fucking years.
60.
Oh yeah, 60. 65.
Yeah.
65 years, most of them people would be dead because they live in a poor
They don't live
district where they die. So it makes sense that they wouldn't remember her. But what I really love is that Katniss reminds him of her, but he can't let anyone know that. She's this fucking... She's not as charming as Lucy Gray, but she's, a hothead from District 12 who pretends to love PETA to win the games. And in his mind, she was pretending to love him to win the games, even though I think that she really did love him. And even part of him, I think, really did love her. He loved his ambition and everything else more. He's a sociopath.
Well, I think it's part of that, but I also think he still cared for his grandma and his cousin, too.
Well, I don't know, because even Tigress was like, you look like your dad. And it was like a disappointing, you look like your dad.
Oh, yeah, because she said that his dad didn't have, what did she say about his eyes? There was like no warmth in his eyes, or like he was like a cold-blooded
Yeah, his dad is an evil man.
Yeah.
He's the one that came up with the idea for the Hunger Games.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, even she was like, you turned into your dad. And like Peter Dinklage, the whole reason he's been trying to keep Snow down is because he knows that he has that ambition and that coldness that his dad had, and he can't let him get any power. The whole time you're thinking Peter Dinklage is just against him, just to be against him, is like he's trying to help people. He wants the games to end, and he knows that someone like Snow will keep it going. I really love all of that. I don't know why you didn't like that. And like the hanging tree is written about him.
Yeah, I know.
So Katniss turning it into this fucking rebel song, like, it has to irk him to the core, and like that's why he doesn't see Coin in the Hunger Games. That's why he's so focused on her. And like during Catching Fire, when he's like, "Convince me that you love him," it's not that he wants her to convince him. It's that he knows that she's like Lucy Gray, and Lucy Gray betrayed him and didn't love him. And he's going to prove that District 12 girls are these fucking bitches.
Betrayed him. He thinks she betrayed him.
Yeah, because he's a sociopath. That's all that matters, is that he thinks that she betrayed him.
But it's like, we don't even know if she was going to betray him or not.
Well, no, she definitely would have lived with him.
Well, when she leaves to go get the Katniss, right? Because that's right before she said... That's right before she finds out that he killed 3 people, he said. And she said, 3? I only know of 2 or whatever. And then he does it myself. So then he's thinking like, oh, her biggest thing is trust. So I can't... Now she can't trust me because I just slipped up. So now she's just going to leave when she goes to get the Katniss.
Yeah.
And we don't even know what she's thinking in that moment either. So we don't know if she was just going to dip and leave, or...
That's 100% what she was thinking.
She was going to leave?
Oh yeah, because
Well, you said she was going to live with him.
well, up until that moment, like all the way up until the cabin, she was definitely down to live with him. But in the cabin, I mean, after all the red flags that she's had, is the final like she sees that there's no changing him, you know? And in his mind, you know, after all this time, all those years go by, he got what he wanted. He got his power. All his ambitions paid off. He has everything, but he doesn't have the love that he left behind, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because we don't ever get to see him with his wife. So,
Yeah.
like, we have no idea what their relationship's like.
And I remember them, I think in the book they talk about it, but it's just like, it's just one of those, it's a political marriage, I think, and he definitely has kids, but he doesn't like any of them, I don't think, you know? Because his ambition just wouldn't allow it. He sees them as a weakness, you know? A way to hurt him. So he always keeps them at arm's distance, I believe. So I find it fascinating. I really liked it.
Yeah. Well, there's like a lot of stuff in the movie that I like and stuff. I think the way the movie's just poorly paced. I was bored most of the time.
See, I was never bored.
Really, most of the Hunger Games.
Yeah, I mean, the Hunger Games, because Peter Dinklage's character is he's trying to make it stop, essentially. Yeah. So he's not trying to make it exciting. He's basically like wants it to be as quick and painless as possible so that it's just over, you know, because he basically believes he's the reason all these people are dead, you know. So I think the Hunger Games are supposed to be boring. I don't think anyone had the idea of it being anything but an arena where no one can hide until this one, when hiding spots popped up on accident because of a rebel attack.
You know, the reason they're called I don't know how this has been overlooked. The reason they're called the Hunger Games is because when the victor gets more food for the whole district for that whole year.
Right.
Right? But they don't have that in this one. The only person who gets anything for the victor is the, whatever Snow is to her, the mentor. Right? They don't get a thing. So why would they call it the Hunger Games?
Well,
if that wasn't the initial prize.
Yeah, that's a plot point. That's a plot hole. Because he does he says something about giving the district extra food for winning in this movie.
Oh, he does?
Yeah, but he was the first one to do it.
Who was?
Snow.
Oh.
He like, I know when she won something, he says something about giving the victor extra food for something.
Oh.
But maybe it was just not important to this movie, and it was in all of them.
Yeah, it's possible, but I feel like they say that they just don't win anything.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who knows? I do like all your points, and like the fact that he's just always been. It's just something I didn't see. I was blinded by the love.
Right.
I guess I was blinded by his love for her.
Yeah.
So it was hard for me to see all the things.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think they really did love each other. I just think that he loved the capital and the ambition more. The games. He loved, everything's a game to him his entire life.
Would be excited to see a new movie where he's the new game maker.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like historically that's what he becomes, but that's what it seems like. Viola Davis is like, you're going to be my protege.
I'm pretty sure he is a game maker, and because he takes the games from what they are and turns them into what they become. He works his way up and literally gets, voted for president because of all that, because he's just so loved in the capital.
Yeah, and another thing from this movie is that they should make a movie. What happens between him and Tigress?
I think we saw it. I think it's just he becomes his dad, and they just drift.
You really think so?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, man. I just kept thinking about things and how she correlates with Katniss and how Katniss and Peter's relationship correlated with hers and Snow's, and it's good. So I really liked it.
Yeah. I'll go up to 8.
Exactly.
I'll go up to an 8.
8.5? 8.5?
Yeah, maybe on a second watch.
Exactly.
Maybe when I can notice.
I told you.
Yeah.
I told you. Yes, that's everything. So yeah, next week, Melancholia. We start The Hobbit. We're watching The Hobbit 1 and 2.
Yeah, Hobbit 1 and Desolation of Smaug.
And we're going to see Godzilla
Minus
tomorrow.
0. Yeah.
-1.
Minus 1. Isn't there a -0 too?
Everyone thought it was going to be called Godzilla 0. And then the trailer came out and it was Godzilla -1. Like up until the trailer came out, everyone was like, Godzilla 0. And it was almost like that was what the title was.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah,
But yeah.
super pumped about that. My God.
Me too. I'm fucking excited.
It's going to be awesome.
But yeah, thanks for listening. 2 men and a podcast.
2 guys.
2 guys in a movie.
2 guys in some movies.
2 guys in some movies.
Formerly known as Reels.
Formerly known as Reels.
Still have the Reels logo on everything because I don't have another logo.
Yeah. We'll work on it.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Every Monday, podcast services, YouTube. And that's a wrap.
Yep.